Hello everyone and welcome to the week 8 video. This is a very important video as I'm going to be reviewing what needs to be included in the discourse community analysis. The discourse community analysis is due at the end of week 8 on Sunday, October the 11th at 10 p.m. However, in order to complete that draft, you not only have to watch this video, but you also need to complete the accompanying quiz as well. This quiz I am attaching because a number of students have not been following directions. Okay, this is not an indictment of any one person or group of people, but I feel that it is extremely important that everyone is staying on task, that everyone is following directions. So that is why I'm including a quiz as a condition of being able to turn in the discourse community analysis first draft. Okay? If you watch this video and then complete the quiz, okay, it should be relatively easy. All of the answers to that quiz can be found in this video. All right, let's get to it. So just to run things down, the introduction section of your discourse community analysis is 2 paragraphs. The methodology section is 1 to 2 paragraphs. The observation section is 5+ paragraphs and is the biggest section of the essay. And then you have your conclusion, which is 1 paragraph. Okay? So that is relatively straightforward, but let's get into kind of the nuts and bolts of what this should look like. The introduction must be 2 paragraphs only. Do not make it any longer or shorter. In paragraph 1 or 2, summarize what a discourse community is based on what you read in the John's article and in the videos, as well as the various examples. Do not use quotes from any of the text, paraphrase or summarize. Okay? And then in paragraph 1 or 2, describe your own discourse community. Provide some general information about what the community actually does. Do not discuss the lexe's, genres, or goals yet. In this particular section, you are merely reviewing over, okay, this particular discourse community. You're just giving us some details. Make sure these are 2 separate paragraphs and that they are 8 to 10 sentences long. Okay, each paragraph must be 8 to 10 sentences long. So it doesn't matter which order you write these in, but you do just have to be careful about what you're talking about in each paragraph. All right, as we go into the next part, the methodology section. Okay, the methodology section can be 1 to 2 paragraphs. Okay, 1 to 2 paragraphs. In this paragraph, you are telling me who you intend to interview. Do not provide any quotes or answers in this section. You are just telling me who you plan on interviewing, whether it is one person or more than one person. You are going to highlight what important questions you will ask. Okay, this may be 2 or 3 of the most important ones. Don't just list all of the questions. And I know that in the past I've said, do not include questions in your academic essays. This would be an exception to that. Okay, you also need to highlight what you hope to learn from this assignment as well. Do not define any of the lexes. You may tell me what lexes you do plan on defining, but don't actually define them in this section. Okay? As we start talking about the observation section, this is the longest section of the essay at 5+ paragraphs. You must conduct observations of your discourse community. If it is online, you can of course observe forums and appropriate websites. In person, you should be able to physically observe a space. Okay, here's the thing. In the time of COVID, I know that this is going to be really difficult to do. So you really need to think about how you are going to conduct your observations. Okay, you need to be cautious. Don't be unsafe when you do your observations. Okay, you need to put a mask on, you need to be social distancing. Okay, do not put yourself at risk for this essay. That is not what I am asking you to do. Okay, but if you are observing your job but you still physically go to, okay, then you need to actually observe what is happening. Okay, in your essay, I'm expecting most people to address COVID in their assignment. Okay? To not do this would be intellectually dishonest. So, given the circumstances that we are in, you probably need to talk about COVID at some point in your essay and what kind of effect that it is having on your discourse community, because in most cases, my guess is that you are having some problems or there are some issues because of COVID. Okay? This is also really important. I can't emphasize this enough. I've said it a million times. I will say it a million more. The emphasis is always on language, not actions or behavior. So as you are writing your essay, always address how language is being used in your discourse community. Okay? In continuing to talk about observations, make sure that you are not transcribing your interviews and including all the questions and the answers. Don't do this. You are including the most important quotes and ideas. Okay? Something else that I want to tell you, do not focus paragraphs around your interviewees. The quotes and the paraphrases from your interviewees should be support of the kinds of paragraphs that I have listed on the third bullet point. You could focus paragraphs around the following: goals, lexes, genres, actual observations conducted, as long as they focus on how language is being used. Okay, but do not focus any of your paragraphs around the interviewees. Okay, that is so important. That is how people lose points on their essays. Focus the paragraphs around these things: goals, lexes, genres, the actual observations that you are making. The quotes and paragraphs are in support of these ideas. Okay, let's talk about the conclusion. The conclusion: do not summarize your essay. If you do this, you are going to get yourself in trouble. You want to answer the following questions. What is the importance of this discourse community to you and the world at large? Why is it important to study this particular discourse community? You want to make sure this paragraph is well developed. Do not underdevelop it. There are a lot of underdeveloped conclusions in the literacy narrative. Okay, but your conclusion must be as long as the other paragraphs, 8 to 10 sentences. Okay? And then there is the works cited page. This is a requirement, even if the interview is your only bit of research. Something else that I want to tell you: do not do secondary research unless it is approved by me first. Okay, so that is everything that I have to say about the essay itself. There's one more thing that I want to talk about when it comes to sentence structure. Make sure that you read your drafts aloud. This is the best way to identify awkward sentences, fragments, and comma splices. I saw a number of these in literacy narratives, and I want to see that number go down. I want to see the kinds of grammatical mistakes that you are making go down. Alright, in this essay, you are still allowed to use the first person, although this is not a narrative, so you will be using less of it, but it is still permissible. Avoid second person usage. That has not changed. Make sure that you are using apostrophes for possessive nouns and contractions. This was a major problem in the literacy narratives. Okay, there were a lot of missing apostrophes, and I don't want that. Okay, also, when it comes to verb tense, make sure that this is written in the present tense, especially the observations. Okay, make sure that you are doing this. So I want to wish everyone luck on completing their discourse community drafts. Okay, if you have not done so, make sure you go to the quiz immediately after finishing this video. It is 10 questions. It is incredibly easy if you have paid attention to this video, and even if you have not, you can go back and click around to find the answers. Okay, but it is important to me that you are following directions. So thank you so much. Be safe, be healthy, good luck.